I don't believe I'll ever know for sure exactly when I became a comic book fan, most likely because I had a comic collecting uncle in the house in the early years of my life. I had plenty of stuff that stayed in print throughout the 70s, like Power Records and several Whitman coloring books, like the Captain America one where he's chasing after Batroc, or Superman's World Without Water. I saw Superman the motion picture in the theater, and I can't recall there ever being a time when comic books weren't around. They were certainly always on my short list for purchases at garage sales and flea markets as well. However, while working on a project, I visited the justifiably named Mike's Amazing World of DC Comics to take advantage of his time machine. Mike took it upon himself to begin offering a chronological listing of every DC book by actual and cover dated availability. What's more, he's recently expanded his Amazing Worlds to include Marvel, Gold Key, and Charlton Comics, with all of their assorted monthly titles available on a virtual newsstand. This has allowed me to determine ground zero for the beginning of my collecting new comics by schlepping down to the 7-Eleven with my own pocket change, January of 1982. I can't say for certain that I bought the given issues upon their release, and I'm not sure Mike's dates are ironclad either. That said, there's a very good chance my first brand new purchase from out of my own pocket was The Amazing Spider-Man number 227 by Roger Stern, John Romita Jr., and Jim Mooney. It was a fun Black Cat story, and while Mooney's inks weren't choice, it was still a good-looking book. I still have an original copy stewing in a poly bag, the brown pages surely acidic as all hell and unrestrained by the first and last pages, which I lost years ago. According to Mike, my second comic would be The Flash number 308. It was kind of a neat story by the usually swell and highly underrated Cary Bates, where the Scarlet Speedster's battle with a mummy was paralleled by some children at play. It may be heretical, but if there's one classic artist I never developed an appreciation for, it's the late Carmine Infantino. I hate his stuff to this day, as well as many of the people he influenced. However, the reason I bought the book was the embellishment of Dennis Jensen, who did a magnificent job of making Infantino look pretty. Yet, I suspect that despite the solid plot and inks, this would also be the beginning of a lifelong dislike of super speed characters. I could never get into Runs Fast Man in any costume or at any company. The backup strip by Martin Pascoe, Keith Giffen, and Larry Malstead makes a liar out of me, because I could have sworn my introduction to Dr. Fate was through the Superpowers collection. I have no recollection of this story, except perhaps the vaguest impression of a half splash to start it off. Since The Flash was undated, I can't be positive that Brave and the Bold number 185 was my third comic. I parted company with the first book quickly, but that Batman, Robin, and Green Arrow team-up was in my comic pile next to my grandmother's couch for years. I'd already been turned on to the O'Neil Adams stuff, and after that Rich Buckler cover, I found the interiors by Adrian Gonzalez and Mike DiCarlo quite disappointing. Gonzalez mostly stuck to Arak and war comics, which helps explain why your first question was probably, who the hell is Adrian Gonzalez? Roderdon Carr has an even less impressive record, and his story probably helped drive me to Marvel Comics for most of the 80s. It was just one of the overwhelming majority of Penguin stories that are underwhelming, involving giant bird cages and Ollie not getting his eyes clawed out, damn it. Not too bad of a month for my first as a certified collector, but not enough to make my bona fides, since I didn't stick with any of them going into February. That's a tale for a different time, though. How about yourself, dear listener? Any memories of your first month collecting comics, or January of 1982 specifically? Leave comments below.